You are now listening to Discover Your Potential with radio talk show host Dan Gilman, Cindy Gilman's son. So listen, participate, be inspired. Know that you can discover your potential. Here is Dan Gilman.
Hi, welcome to Discover Your Potential. I'm Dan Gilman, your host, and we have a very special guest today. Typically, my mother reads a poem at the beginning of the show, but I'm actually going to just go right into the guest. We have Dr. Dee Baer. She's a holistic nutritionist. She's 42 years certified health coach. She's just quite amazing. She's a best-selling author, and I'm so excited to bring her on today. Hi, Jody. How are you?
Hello, Cindy Gilman's son. Dan, you are the man. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I am just honored and privileged to be here.
Oh, it's an honor to have you here. I wish my mother could. I know my mother would have loved to connect with you and meet with you and talk to you, but she isn't.
We're connecting anyway.
There you go. There you go. So, Dr. Dee Baer, I wanted to talk to you about. I know you're a holistic practitioner and a health coach, and what do you do as a holistic practitioner? I'd love to hear more.
I do what you need. What I am, I've been a health coach and holistic practitioner now, Dan, for over 42 years. At 67, when I started, people say, health coach, what sport do you coach? And I said, your body. Una vida, una cuerpo, one body, one life, one body. That's all you have. So when you listen to the warning signs of your body, first a tap on your shoulder, then there's a 2x4, lest you get to the Mack truck. You can live full out, full in. Dan, I am living proof. At 67 years of age, I'm living proof that you can go from energy will create vitality to longevity. That's what I do. Doctors do a great job, Eastern medicine, of diagnosing. But what is behind the diagnosis and how do you get through the diagnosis to optimal health? That's what I do. I'm privileged to say, since Bob Baer found me on the beach and I sold my corporate executive practice and went coaching individually, I focused in on weight management. Why? Because inflammation is the number one cause of all disease. Inflammation, nation. Uncle Harry didn't die of a heart attack. He died of inflammation. And Aunt Harriet didn't die of a heart attack either. She died of inflammation. So what do? How do you make that connection? You go down into the root. And I have specific protocols that will do just this, that you use them throughout your life. And especially right here, right now, with COVID and what people are dealing with, the C-reactive proteins, cortisol. Dan, I just use those words so that you know that I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. We need to get to the root cause so we can get past and beyond, so that you can have your life being a participant in the stadium rather than just a spectator and waiting for the next 2x4 or the tap on the shoulder or the Mack truck to fall. But I want to go back and say, yes, when Bob Baer found me on the beach and he proposed a year later, I made him sweat a little bit. I sold my corporate practice, sold it to my reps all over the country, because at that point, I had over 1,200 corporate Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. All the NCAAs did my program of peak performance, including the Department of Defense and the Department of Labor. It was an extremely prolific course. Just simple things, 5 elements that you can do in your life, or tools in your toolbox. You would never fix, let's say, my driveway right now that needs pressure washing. You wouldn't use a wrench. You got to use a hose. So when you have all those tools in there, you can do something. So my weight management program that I've done now and implemented, I'm so honored to say, in the last 11 years, since Bob and I've been married now, being individually coaching and consulting these people, it's 1 million pounds. Yes, 1 million pounds of toxic fat lost. If McDonald's can keep track of the burgers and the frankenfood, I can keep track of the toxicity that comes out of people's body. So that's who I am. Dr. J, have a healthy day, Jan.
And people can, if people are interested in working with you, they can actually go on your website to find information, or how do they get into the if they have they want to do weight loss program and they want to work with you, how can they get in touch with you for that?
Thank you, Dan. What I am, you've got my website up there. You can find me very actively on Instagram. It's my handle is Health Coach Jody. All right. And then on Facebook, the same way. I'm the only Jody Baer, and it's spelled J-O capital D-E-E, and Baer is B-A-E-R. And you can find me. It's the only person that lives in Howey in the Hills. It's a real town in Florida. And this is what I know is that we start with a program that's doable for you because there are levels of health. Dan, there's level 3. That's where you eat frankenfood and you're going to die of obesity or some degenerative illness.
And it's
Those people I don't run after.
it's a big issue in America,
Oh,
especially
big time.
obesity.
Absolutely. 8 out of 10 people are obese. Dan, remember when we were in at least when I was in elementary school, there was one chubby kid. Now it's really the majority.
Yeah.
Then you've got a program for eating clean. But for me, this is what I believe is that no food tastes as good as health feels. My podcast, Life's Milkshake Moment, airs every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. because life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely. And when you do, that milkshake will taste so sweet. Remember I said, Dan, energy creates vitality, which transcends into longevity. At 67 years age, I am living proof.
Wow, that's great. And again, if anybody wants to find Dr. Jody Baer's podcast, you can go to Life Milkshake Moment podcast. Is that correct?
Yes, Life's
Excellent.
Milkshake Moment.
Oh,
Absolutely.
sorry, Life's. I put
It's
life.
okay. It's no big deal.
Excellent. Well, also you're having an amazing event occurring actually very soon on the 22nd of October at 11 a.m. actually until midnight, which is extraordinary. It's Women's Sense Ignite the
Yes.
Real You. I'd love to hear more about that, and especially on, I know you're focusing on 6 senses of human awareness. I'm sure people would love to hear more about that.
The 6 senses of human awareness, Dan, because you're so intuitive. And I have to come back to honor the man, I guess, on this side, Mr. Les Brown, as I call
Yes.
him the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I actually spoke before him as an opening act for a convention back in the 90s, talking about weight loss again. And I just huddled behind the screen. I'm going to get behind him. But one day I'm going to speak with him. Here I am. As I told him when I met him again in New York City at our live event, first one that Mr. Brown has had since COVID. And I said, here we are. And I just said, namaste. We are together. Peace be with both of us. What we've done is I've become a part of Hungry to Speak. It's an inner circle coaching platform with Les Brown, the legendary Les Brown. What came out of this, because it's always the 6 degrees of separation, isn't it, Dan? Guess what happened? All of a sudden, I meet JB Owen, the beautiful woman, I guess, on this side.
Yes.
With the she's known as the pink billionaire. Met her through Mr. Les Brown in the coaching arena because I knew when I came back into the field again in a different way online, no longer having my individual practice, closed my doors the month before COVID, said I need to have an online presence. Then I meet Mr. Les Brown or reignite with him. And the rest is history. Actually, I think it's 2 degrees of separation that we all have because, as Mr. Brown says, it is a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. And he has supported this inner circle. Now, JB comes in the mix, I guess in April. She said, I'm writing a book with Mr. Les Brown. Now, JB herself is a 14-time best-selling author. Her company is Ignite Publishing. All of a sudden, I am collaborating with the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I'm writing a chapter, which my chapter is called From Tummy Ache to Transcendent Health. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But Dan, this is what happened. We are in New York. It's now that Ignite moment that we come together. I'm riding an Uber at 1 a.m. in the morning in New York City with Jackie Tate, another speaker, and I'm going, we just got to do something, because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Dan,
Yes.
you know that.
Yes.
And breast cancer is on the rise. Heart disease is on the rise. Remember Aunt Harriet? I mentioned her a minute ago.
Sure.
And then you have breast cancer on the rise. Why? Because it's not what we are eating. It's not what we're ingesting. It's not what we're drinking. We know that in COVID, that tummy ache has gone from urgency to emergency in all of us. Obesity, marriage, divorce,
Yeah.
suicide rate. What else do I want to say? Drug addiction, alcoholism. It's not what we're eating and ingesting. I want to come back to that, but what's eating us. So Jackie and I had this amazing conversation that the Uber driver finally said, are you gals ever going to get out of the Uber? And we said, we're going to do this. So we selected the date, the 22nd of October. I said, being a marathoner and a road warrior of over 2,000 actual 10Ks and above to marathons and 6,000 road races, said, let's make it a marathon. That day on the 22nd, my youngest son will be 40 years old. I was in labor for 23 hours. I thought, this marathoner can do 13 hours. So what we did is we came up with the name, Women Sense. We all have common sense, but isn't it true that women just have a certain sense about them?
Yes.
I teach in all 6 pillars. We're calling them senses for this human awareness, starting with spiritual, then physical, mental, emotional, social, and then financial. You get all 5 senses aligned, the financial will be there. I'm just referring to my latest absolute mastermind book that I'm doing with my coaching group with Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. It will take care of itself. So then this had a life of its own. We're on Clubhouse. We'll be in the 1%ers only club room, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll run with it. Mr. Les Brown will be speaking. JB Owen will be speaking a couple of times. Remember, 14-time best-selling author. We have 16 of the 24 women that are going to be speaking on their story. What is their women sense? But the most important thing, Dan, is we're giving back. Just like you're giving back, putting us on StreamYard, this yard, YouTube, Zoom. I'm a health coach. I don't know how to do this. All of a sudden, I've attracted amazing you in my life so that we can combine and get the word out. Because during this COVID era, my wonderful Kenyan kids, the website is back4kids.com. I would love for you to put that up, Dan. It's back4kids.com. That is one of our charities, because these orphans, when COVID hit, decimated, no money. What were they going to do? And a band of us raised together. Absolutely. Thank you, Dan. Raised together. And we decided we're going to keep this orphanage going. And we've made it thriving. Through different online events, we've been able to build a wall for security, because it's getting pretty bad over in Kenya, just like it is here. To keep these kids safe, we have had them drill a well. So now they're selling clean water to the village and making a profit. They're little entrepreneurs. And this last event, we've actually planted 20 banana trees that next year they'll be able to sell fruit. You think about the potassium in these bananas and how they're going to help the village. But I know I sound like a commercial, on the Ginsu knife commercial, but wait, there's more. There's more, because I have a refuge that is near and dear to my heart in St. Augustine, Florida. It is the Women's Refuge of St. Johns County. So money is, some of the monies are going to be there that we're raising. We're also going to be raising money for the Daytona Fighting Human Trafficking. It is absolutely, Daytona fights human trafficking in Daytona Beach. I mean, that is pandemic for sure. How are we going to do this? We've got several websites. We're going to run it through Back to Back for Kids. And when you go to the product site, we even have a t-shirt, ladies or men, just get it for your lady. It says Women's Sense, Igniting the Real You. We've got it in white, light pink, and black. Ladies, when did you not want to have a lipstick right here, a piece of lips? I mean, it's going to be amazing. So all of these proceeds are going to go to the kids. But I'm going to come back to the book that we've all written, and it's on the way to being a New York Times bestseller. We're asking everyone, and you can go to my timeline right now, Dee Baer, and you'll see it right at the top. If you download for 99 cents, you download a copy of Ignite the Hunger in You. Igniting for humanity is the tagline. Guess what? You'll be able to up our algorithms, getting it going. Then you can reserve a copy when the book actually comes out December 1st. We will have a summit the 1st of December. You can get discounted tickets. Just DM me when tickets go live next week, and you can get a $179 ticket for a 3-day seminar with Les Brown speaking all 3 days. You'll have unlimited access. There are $10,000 worth of free options. The tickets are $179. You can get it for $69. And guess what? You can go ahead and get the book as well. And I can tell you, this book will ignite the hunger. It will get rid of that tummy ache that's come from COVID, from urgency to emergency in you or someone else. But let's get back to the event for just a moment, Dan. This event will have every single speaker. We have notable people such as not only Les Brown, J.B. Owen, Forbes Riley, Dame Doria Cordova. Then we have great men, because without you great men, Dan, we would have no babies. We would not be the women that we need to be. So this is great men supporting women. And then I come back to my coach, my mentor for the last 10 years, Jay Noland, who just released a book yesterday, The Power of a Woman from the Perspective of Real Men. So he's brought in these men that he knows to support women such as himself, Aaron Hernandez, like I said, Mo Rock, Orlando Spotto, the accidental gangster himself, then from the Hungry to Speak family, Devin Rodriguez, Maynard Neal, it goes on and on. Mike Finch, other mentees of Les Brown, and they're supporting us for this. So all you got to do is just come to the event, go to back4kids.com. You can make a donation there. And when you go ahead and download the book, which will get you the option to get your pre-sold book at the pre-sale price, guess what? With the book proceeds, with every book sold, there will be a brick that will be laid for children in Cambodia. We're building an elementary school in Cambodia as well. Because Dan, you and I know when you give of yourself, it's like what the good book says, when you give of your talents, more will be given to you. And that's what we are doing through these amazing charities, through these amazing men and these women that are going to be speaking. Ashley Patterson, Jessica T. Moore, Diana Lockett, the names go on and on. Kate Vrashek, Dr. Yasmin Saeed. We've done more events. I just feel like she's my co-host on my podcast. The list goes on and on and on. Dr. Felicia Fro. We have other doctors here. These women are telling their story. So I hope that gives you something to go on. I would like to send it back to you, Dan. I would like to leave the audience with just a tad of my story from tummy ache to transcendent health, if I may.
Would love to. Just an aside too, just for our listeners, I'm going to personally purchase a few books that I'm going to specially donate to a couple listeners on the show, just to support, your organization, and also Back to Back for Kids. And
That's my heart.
I'd love to give it to, somebody who's in need, who wants to learn more about Ignite the Hunger. So that's something I would especially like to do, especially because Les Brown is obviously dear to both of our hearts, and he's quite extraordinary. And I'd love to speak with JB Owens, of course, as well. But I think it's needed, and I'd love to do that for us, and that would be part of Discover Your Potential.
Dan, you blow me away every time that we speak, we connect. You're like a Vidalia onion, Dan. I
Oh gosh, I hope
raised.
I don't smell like one.
Guess what? It's great, but they're sweet. You
Yeah,
know
no,
what
I
the
know.
story was of the Vidalia onion? You
Yes,
peel off the layer, every layer, it gets sweeter, it's sweeter, it's sweeter. Have you ever eaten the center of a Vidalia onion? It's like
sure.
honey, and that is you.
No, thank you.
I'm just saying. I bet you've never been described like a Vidalia onion. Now you have been.
No, but when I
And
get sick, I usually have an onion. I know it sounds weird. Everybody's like, "Whoa, what?"
oh, onions and garlic, big time for immunity. And the other thing that we need to be immune about, and what my message is one of hope. Because when you can give hope, and when you ask me what I've done besides weight loss in this last year, especially since people have been getting up and up, that reach out to me. If you know somebody that's in need, that they just, you think about immunity. Is it something that you can feel like getting immunity from living in Afghanistan and coming here as a legal refugee? No,
Yeah.
immunity is something that will give you energy in your life. And I have been honored to help 2,000 people so far in this COVID era just boost their immune system and live with vitality. So, Dan, I just had to throw that in about the onion, but I want to just leave your listening audience with
Please.
just who I am, who Dee Baer is.
Absolutely.
This is the story, the gift that Les Brown gave me when I said yes through my coach. He said, I think you need to work with Les Brown, Jody. You would get so much out of it. You're just right on the cusp of doing something great. Isn't it great when you can have your affirmations and you go, I'm coachable and I know how to coach, but I am coachable, especially as I move upward in success. So keep that in mind. None of us goes through this life alone. You come in and you go out alone, but in the meantime, we need each other. And I'm so grateful that I said yes to Jay Noland, hooked up then with Les Brown in such a soulful way. In fact, I wrote a poem and a rap, but I'm an opera singer, not a rap star. But it said, Les Brown is our soul daddy. He just makes our hearts oh so happy. And he does. And what it made me so happy to say with Ignite the Hunger in You, JB gave us just what is your one ignite moment, the thing that changed everything for you? Well, I can say that my ignite moment was this. My ignite moment was when my earliest childhood memory, I had an excruciating tummy ache. And I went into my mommy and I said, Mommy, my tummy hurts. I was 3 years old. My tummy hurt because I had a physical manifestation of my dad's sudden passing. He was 42. It was not supposed to happen.
Wow.
I found my mother was so depressed and I didn't know how to make her happy. But at age 5, I found out I could sing. And sing I did. And when I sang soulfully, my mother was lifted, this young widow, out of her depression.
Wow.
And her tears of just sadness and depression turned to tears of joy. What was my ignite moment? She gave me hope. Well, I received hope from my mother as then a young professional musician singing over all the concert halls of North America, training in the Stadthaus in Vienna, at Milan, at La Scala, you name it. I was on to a solo performance with the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra. I was broadsided. The next thing I knew, I was face down in a halo, unable to move, surgical screws in my head. My mother reached down to me and she said, Jody, the doctors don't know except for a diagnosis. The doctors don't know who you are. You do. And that lifted me for an ignite moment. I began these protocols and I walked out of that hospital 6 months later, and I've been running ever since. And what I'm going to tell your audience, that is my story. I'm going to leave the rest, so you're going to have to buy the book. But it's one of hope, because as a nutritionist, as a health coach, the good book says faith, but after faith, what do? You need hope so you can have love. So listen to the whispers of your own wisdom. Listen to those wisdoms in those times. And how do you do it with hope? Well, you go down into your healing. That's H, because you know who you are, don't you? Then you go up in opportunity to your true north, your purpose, your passion, and come in to be and live the law of attraction. And then to go out, Dan, just as you are purchasing these books for others, and I want to honor you, and this discover your potential. This is what you're doing. You are empowering yourself, others in your circle of influence, and then the world. And when we do this in these times where you are right here, right now, and in these times in these world that we are living, this world, just know in those whispers of your own wisdom, there is life. And in life, there is hope. Thank you, Dan, for
Thank
allowing me
you.
to share.
Absolutely. And I would love to have you on again and be live and take calls, because a lot of our listeners need a lot of hope and need a lot of help and need a lot of support. And we've done that. We had Kimberly Meredith on just recently, and she helped with healing, because there was a lot of people that called in for healing, but they would absolutely love to connect with you. So I would love for you to have a time and to come back, and we can do it live and get
Yes.
people and callers to call in. So that would be wonderful.
If they have a question, I have an answer. And this is the most heart-centered thing I can do just to wrap up here, Dan. If you take your left
Absolutely.
hand and put it on your heart, you feel your pulse.
Oh, that's my right. I'm always.
And then you take your right hand and you put it over your left. You put it right over there. Your pulse increases, because together, through heart-centered collaborative relationships, we all can have hope.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
This is Cindy Gilman, and you're listening to Discover Your Potential. So until next time, do something nice for yourself, but do something nice for someone else.
In every way, every day, I need less of myself, I need more him, 'cause his is the only